So in the last video that I uploaded almost a month ago, I talked about 5 teams that I think could win the NBA championship next season. It's basically general consensus that these are the teams that are real contenders, but there are plenty of other teams where you can make an argument for. Last season we saw a couple of teams who weren't people's first pick, but also had great seasons too, like the Nuggets and the Blazers. With there being balance in the league, like I said before, there are multiple teams that can really have good seasons. In today's video, I'm going to tell you 5 teams that I believe are the sleepers for the year. This is not in any order, and again, this is my opinion, so you might disagree. And if you do, please feel free to comment below what you think. With that being said, let's not waste any more time. My name is Nas, and this is the Nas 5. The Pacers last year were looking like a solid team in the East that could potentially break into the top 3 until Victor Oladipo tore his quad in a terrible injury. They managed to put themselves in the 5th seed and get swept by the Celtics. The Pacers this summer made a move that people saw as sneaky by signing Malcolm Brogdon, who last year averaged 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. I think that this new situation can help elevate his game. Remember, he was a Rookie of the Year, and even after that, still put up solid numbers with the Bucks. I think that him and Oladipo can really help take this team to the next level, obviously assuming that Oladipo comes back healthy, which is very crucial because the injury that he suffered is a pretty severe one. Let's also remember just how good Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis are. So when you take these 4 guys with a solid bench, they can really make a run in a conference that is pretty weak this year. With Kawhi leaving the Raptors, Kyrie leaving the Celtics, and them not really having a solid team, KD being out for a year with the Nets, the Pacers can be a solid team in the East. I wouldn't be surprised to see them end up with the 3rd or the 4th seed this year. Now the Pelicans are arguably the most interesting team going into the season. Obviously the Pelicans are taking a step forward after trading Anthony Davis, and they got some good pieces from the Lakers. They got Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Josh Hart most noticeably. They also have some pretty solid pieces along with those ex-Lakers, like Jrue Holiday and the newly signed JJ Redick. And obviously the number one reason, no pun intended, for the Pelicans being so interesting is because of their number 1 pick, Zion Williamson. The expectations for Zion are super high, but even if he doesn't live up to the hype, he still has a pretty decent group around him, and that will make a difference. Jrue Holiday last year averaged 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists, which is pretty damn good. So put him in the backcourt with someone like Lonzo or Hart, and you have a promising team. The biggest question mark obviously for them having any success is the health of Ingram and Lonzo specifically. We know that in both seasons, Lonzo Ball has been dealing with some pretty bad ankle injuries, and Brandon Ingram this offseason had to deal with some blood clots, which is very serious. But just earlier today that I'm recording this, a report came out that both of them are now working out with no restrictions, which is a good sign for the team. So if they all can come out healthy, contribute well, and Zion plays even at a fraction of the level that is expected of him, then the Pelicans are a team for the future. And in terms of this season, them being an 8th seed isn't a crazy prediction in my opinion. The Pistons last year were a first-round exit at the hands of the Bucks, which was no surprise considering that Blake Griffin was injured during the series. Griffin last season had a pretty damn good year, putting up 24 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. He was also an all-star reserve that year too. Along with him, you have Andre Drummond, who continues to be a solid big man for this team, making the front court for this Pistons team very strong. One of the main problems that they had last season was a lack of depth and backcourt scoring. Well, they took a step in the right direction this offseason by signing Derrick Rose, who we all know this year had one of his best seasons since his injuries, and he can provide that scoring that is needed at the guard position. Coach Dwayne Casey in a recent interview said that Rose and Reggie Jackson would likely be in the backcourt together, which I think could be a good help for Griffin and Drummond. If the front court continues to play at the level they are right now and they continue to improve, and you also have Derrick Rose and Reggie Jackson making solid contributions along with the others on the bench, they are a solid team in the East that could, in my opinion, potentially be a 6 or 7 seed. Now I would argue that the Nuggets had a great season last year, despite losing in the second round. They were the second best team in the West, going 54-28, winning 34 of their 41 games at home. And a lot of it has to do with Nikola Jokic, who has become, in my opinion, a top 3 big man in this league, with Kat and Embiid right there too. Last season he averaged 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists, but it's not just him. Jamal Murray is also a very underrated player in the league, who also put up solid numbers and provides great scoring. Along with that, they also have some pretty good role players. They have guys like Gary Harris, Paul Millsap, Jeremy Grant, and Hernan Gomez. I don't think that they'll be a second seed team like last year because the LA teams right now are the favorites, but they are still, in my opinion, a team that will be contending in a couple of years. If the main guys continue to grow like they are, along with the successful bench, then they are a top team in the West, and they will be right there competing with those LA teams. Don't sleep on the Nuggets this year, because their potential is high, and I am super excited to see what they do this season. Also, a quick question for me, what's the deal with Michael Porter Jr.? Like, is he coming back anytime soon, or what? That's confusing me. The Utah Jazz last year were one of the top defensive teams in the league, and in this offseason, they came out with a sneaky W in my opinion. They managed to sign 2 great players in Mike Conley and Bogdanovic. Conley is a great veteran voice to have in the locker room with a relatively young team, and not to mention that he's a great defender. I can see Conley taking Donovan Mitchell under his wing to help him develop, and them being in the backcourt together is a pretty scary sight to see. Bogdanovic is also a great pickup by the Jazz because it gives them another scoring option. Bogdanovic last year averaged 18 points with the Pacers and shot nearly 50% from the field, so expect him to be a great contribution to this team. And this is all not to mention that they also have the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, who has been only getting better and better year after year. So you add all of that with Joe Ingles, Jeff Green, Dante Exum, and more. This team is for real. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the top 3 or 4 in the West. I also need to mention this. They're bringing back the 90s logo, court, and uniforms. So already, without a game played in this season, the Jazz are already winning. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you don't agree with this list, feel free to comment who you think is a sleeper team going into this NBA season. I also want to apologize for not uploading much lately. I know I haven't been uploading in a few weeks, but I have been busy with getting videos up on my second channel. I have been uploading 2K20 videos on that channel, so if you are interested in that, please show some love and subscribe to that channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll leave a link in the description below for you guys to check out. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like. Also, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this and turn on your notifications. We are 2 weeks away from the first preseason game. Guys, the NBA season is getting close and close. This is one of the most exciting seasons in a while, and it's almost here. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for the recent support. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.